The first thing that God will do to a man that he will prevail over and he will use, the man that he will sort out for his work, is to bring him to the place of being helpless. As many that desire God to use them, God must bring us to that point whereby we are helpless. God brought Moses to this point. This is a prince in Egypt who all things is at his hand, at his command. People were ready to serve him. People were ready to offer service to him. But when God come to use him, the first thing that God needed to do, he needed to drill him and take away certain things from him. The mentality he contacted in Egypt needed to be drained away. If he must suit into what God wants to do, God needed to do a deep work. And I'm seeing a prince. Imagine a prince doing a menial work. Those that God will pick, those that God will use, are men that must come to the point of going down to do menial service. Things that look inconsequential, things that mighty men will not do, they must come to that point. While all this was happening, God was taking note. You know, remember he stayed in Egypt for 40 years. Something has happened to his mindset, and God needed to do a deep work that he will remove all those things. You could see the path that God took him to. First and foremost, his pride and ego needed to be dealt with. A prince serving, a prince coming to the level of doing menial job. And the second thing that touched me, while in the palace, probably he have the privilege of seeing so many beautiful daughters, beautiful girls. But in that place, because he was a mighty man and the kind of position where he occupied, he couldn't misbehave. But this time around, with 7 daughters, 7 women, God was taking time to check all these things. You know, God didn't send him immediately. He was on probation. A man that God will use, God must place you on probation. You must be on probation. God will test you. God took his time. He was checking this man. 7 daughters, all through the stay. There was never any evil report that he violated any one of them. He was so faithful in doing what God placed him to do at that particular point.